Once upon a time, in a peaceful little village surrounded by golden fields, there lived an old donkey named Bruno. For many years, Bruno had been a loyal companion to a kind-hearted farmer, carrying heavy loads and working tirelessly under the sun. But as time passed, his strength waned and he was no longer useful for farm work. Instead of sending him away, the farmer allowed Bruno to roam freely, spending his days grazing in the meadows. One bright afternoon, as Bruno wandered near an abandoned well, his hooves slipped on the loose soil. In an instant, he tumbled into the deep, narrow pit. Shocked and terrified, Bruno brayed loudly, calling for help. His desperate cries echoed through the valley. Hours passed, and just as Bruno began to lose hope, a passing merchant heard his cries. Curious, the man approached the well and gasped at the sight of the helpless donkey. Without wasting a moment, he rushed to the village to inform the farmer. When the farmer and his neighbors arrived, they peered down at Bruno, their faces filled with concern. They tried every possible way to pull him out, tying ropes, lowering wooden planks, but nothing worked. The well was simply too deep. As the sun began to set, the farmer's expression darkened. With a heavy heart, he sighed and made a painful decision.
We've done all we can. Bruno is old. Even if we could save him, he wouldn't be able to work anymore. The kindest thing we can do is put him to rest.
The neighbors hesitated, but seeing the sorrow in the farmer's eyes, they reluctantly agreed. One by one, they picked up shovels and began to throw dirt into the well, planning to bury Bruno gently. At first, Bruno panicked. He let out a heart-wrenching cry, realizing that the very people he trusted had given up on him. But then something shifted within him, a spark of resilience. As the first layers of dirt hit his back, he instinctively shook them off. Then he stepped up onto the fresh soil. With each new shovel of dirt, Bruno repeated this action. Shake it off, step up, shake it off, step up. He climbed higher, little by little, using what was meant to bury him as a path to freedom. The villagers, too busy shoveling, didn't notice that the donkey's cries had stopped. The farmer, overcome with guilt, finally peered into the well, and his eyes widened in disbelief. There, just a few feet from the top, was Bruno, determined and unbroken. With one final push, Bruno leapt out of the well, landing gracefully on solid ground. The villagers gasped in amazement. The farmer stood frozen, watching as his old companion, who had been counted out, walked away without looking back. Bruno never returned to the farm. He had learned a valuable truth. Those who truly value you will never abandon you in times of trouble. With a newfound sense of strength and freedom, he trotted toward the horizon, embracing the next chapter of his life. Moral of the story: life will often throw dirt on you, but you can choose to rise above it. Just like Bruno, when faced with challenges, we must shake them off and step up. Obstacles are not meant to bury us, they are meant to elevate us. Stay determined, trust your strength, and never let others decide your worth.